California's long-term drought is taking its toll on water quality from San Diego's rivers and streams down to the ocean. Now that California has raised the smoking age to 21, how does the state enforce the new rule?
A competent, knowledgeable individual who has experience beyond any candidate.
I really think that I'm the person that can bring some different views to the board in regards to the way this system should operate.
A closer look at the candidates vying for a seat on the Southeast San Diego School Board. This is Evening Edition on KPBS. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi in the KPBS newsroom. We're broadcasting from here tonight as our main studio is prepped for a debate between 5 candidates for U.S. Senate. We'll have more about that in just a few minutes. The region's ongoing drought continues to put stress on the quality of water flowing out of local watersheds, rivers and streams that eventually end up in the ocean. KPBS reporter Eric Anderson says only 3 watersheds had fair quality last year, and the quality of water in the rest was marginal or poor.
I'm going to collect a water sample that would then be taken back to the lab.
San Diego Coastkeeper volunteers tested water every month last year in 9 of the region's 11 watersheds. What they found was water that had a lot of fecal contamination and low levels of dissolved oxygen. 3 watersheds got fair water quality ratings, 5 were marginal, including the San Diego River, and the Tijuana watershed got a poor rating because of sewage flows. Meredith Myers works on the testing program with Coastkeeper. She says the region's punishing 4-year drought helped keep watersheds dirty last year.
The drought means lower flows, so we're seeing less of the pollution getting flushed out. Instead, it's being concentrated in our rivers when it's not flowing regularly.
She says volunteers worked with her to test 9 of the county's watersheds. The other 2 watersheds are on Camp Pendleton and difficult to access for regular testing. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.
Southern California Edison says it will participate fully in a process set up by California Public Utilities Commission to reconsider a settlement on shutting down the San Onofre nuclear power plant. On Monday, the CPUC reopened the settlement. It was reached 2 years ago and left customers with a $3.3 billion tab. Since then, undisclosed conversations between CPUC President Michael Peavy and Southern California Edison have come to light. An idle Southern California oil refinery has been restarted more than a year after an explosion crippled the plant. The shuttering of the Torrance plant in February of 2015 led to higher gas prices in the state because it led to a shortage of gas that meets California's stricter pollution regulations. 4 contractors were injured in the explosion. 7 inmates and a state prison official have been indicted on charges of running a drug smuggling operation inside a Southern California prison. Prosecutors say a former prison drug counselor worked in cahoots with inmates to run a network that smuggled in meth, heroin, marijuana, cell phones, and other goods. The drugs and goods had an estimated value of $1.2 million. California's law raising the legal age to buy tobacco to 21 takes effect in less than a month. But as KPBS health reporter Kenny Goldberg explains, enforcement is likely to be spotty at first.
The governor signed the bill into law only last week. The Food and Drug Branch of the California Department of Public Health will take the lead in enforcing the law. They're supposed to issue signage requirements and get materials to retailers. Deborah Kelly is with the American Lung Association. She says it will be tough for the agency to get everything ready by the June 9th start date.
It's going to be perhaps a little messy, but we're happy to have a slightly messy situation that we can clean up and make work in order to save so many lives.
The CDC says nearly 9 out of 10 cigarette smokers started before they were 18. Kenny Goldberg, KPBS News.
Today, Caltrans honored the 184 workers killed on the job since 1921. District Director Lori Berman remembered bridge engineer Oscar Vargas, who died last year.
Every year, Caltrans hosts Highway Worker Memorial Days throughout the state to remember those we have lost in the line of duty over the years. The tradition of the cone placement is a powerful visual symbol of the lives that have been lost since 1921.
1921, James Archer, District 1 Superintendent.
Each of the cones represent a life cut short while serving the people of California.
Kyle Truesdale, District 5, Maintenance Lead Man.
They were beloved family members. They were spouses, parents, grandparents, sons and daughters, siblings, uncles, aunts, co-workers. They were our friends.
Bruce Cole, Bridge Department, Assistant Bridge Engineer.
Because the children of the men and women who are building and maintaining our transportation system should not have to worry about their parents getting home safely.
Darrell M. Tallman, Maintenance Worker. Stanley W. Gordon, District 1, Maintenance Worker.
Sadly, this year we have added another cone, and the number now stands at 184. Last summer, we lost a valued member of our District 11 family, Oscar Vargas. Oscar was a transportation civil engineer who worked in bridge construction, and it's hard to drive around San Diego County without finding a bridge with Oscar's fingerprints on it. We remember. Thank you.
And video journalist Matt Bowler brought us that story. 5 healthcare centers in San Diego County have received grants from the federal government to improve their facilities. North County Health Services, San Ysidro Health Center, Community Health Systems, and Neighborhood Healthcare got $1 million each, while the Vista Community Clinic received $686,000. The funding will allow the centers to renovate or construct facilities, which is expected to help them serve more patients. A key contest happened for the U.S. Senate race. 5 candidates will face off here at KPBS, making their case to represent the Golden State on Capitol Hill. Debate moderator Amitha Sharma joins us now from the KPBS Senate debate studio. Amitha, what can we hope to see from tonight's debate?
Well, Maya, this is the last debate before the June 7th California primary. We are hoping people walk away with a little more clarity on where the candidates stand on some key issues.
What are the hot-button issues for the Senate race?
Climate change, gun control, the high cost of a college education, and certainly immigration reform.
And what are the surprising moments from the race so far?
I think what's most surprising is the fact that we're less than 1 month away from the state primary, and the last poll on the U.S. Senate race is that nearly half of likely voters are still undecided. The knock against this race is that it has been a sleeper. No one is paying attention because everyone is fixated by the drama that is this year's presidential race.
All right, makes sense. But what happens to the Senate race after the June primary?
Well, the 2 top vote getters, even if they belong to the same party, face off in November. Attorney General Kamala Harris has a big lead over Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez. Harris is at 27% or 29%, depending on which poll you follow, with Sanchez coming in at 19 or 14%. The Republicans in this race, entrepreneur Ron Unz and former GOP State Party Chairman Tom Del Beccaro and Duff Sunheim, are in the single digits.
Amitha Sharma from the KPBS Senate debate studio, thank you.
Thank you, Maya.
And please make sure to join us on Facebook Live tonight before the debate. We will be streaming behind the scenes of our newsroom and where the debate is being held. We will also be interviewing San Diego State University students, some of whom are first-time voters. That is tonight at 6:15 on the KPBS Facebook page. Voters in West Virginia and Nebraska cast primary ballots today. The Associated Press has already called the West Virginia Republican primary for Donald Trump. We're still waiting for official results on the Democratic side. 29 delegates are at stake there. Bernie Sanders is looking for a win, but remains behind in the delegate count. Hillary Clinton is just 155 delegates short of the 2,383 she needs to secure the nomination. Neighborhoods in southeastern San Diego will elect a new school board trustee this year. The community's former board member had to resign in February following a scandal. KPBS reporter Susan Murphy tells us 2 candidates are vying for the seat in the June election.
The school year is winding down for 130,000 students in the San Diego Unified School District, but a race for the seat on the school board is just getting started. Communities in southeastern San Diego will get to decide who will be their voice and represent the 45 schools in their neighborhoods.
I am a competent, knowledgeable individual who has experience beyond any candidate.
Sharon Whitehurst Payne is running as the incumbent for the District E seat. She was appointed in February to finish the term of trustee Marne Foster, who pleaded guilty to receiving financial gifts over the legal limit. Whitehurst Payne spent 31 years working for the San Diego Unified School District as a teacher and consultant, followed by 10 years as a college administrator. The 65-year-old holds a doctorate in education leadership. During her first 3 months as interim trustee, she says she has visited every school in her district. She wants to see more people volunteering in their neighborhood schools.
I will operate from a model of let's work together. Let's stop so much rhetoric and loud talking and sit down and ask ourselves, what can I do? I have a role. Whatever your position is, parent, community person, you have a role to play. Do it.
Challenging her is Lachey Collins, an adjunct professor at San Diego State University and district director for California Assemblywoman Shirley Weber.
I really think that I'm the person that can bring some different views to the board in regards to the way this system should operate, especially because I have children and they're going through the process.
Collins was raised in southeastern San Diego and graduated from Lincoln High School. Her 2 children are students at district schools. The 35-year-old holds a master's degree from San Diego State University, where she is currently a doctoral candidate in educational leadership.
It's become clear that our school system is at a major crossroad. Parents and community members are having a hard time navigating our system, and the focus has actually shifted from the needs of our children to the wants of adults.
Many of the students in the Southeastern District come from low-income minority families. The persistent achievement gap remains a top issue. Economically disadvantaged African American students consistently test lower than their peers. At Crawford High School, for example, 85% of 11th grade African American students last year tested below average in math, compared to 31% of all students district-wide.
It's very difficult for me to understand why it is we can't get it right about African American children. Because I went to an all-black school, K through 12, as a child in Virginia in the South. And we achieved. I mean, it was assumed that we would achieve, and we did.
Whitehurst Payne is passionate about closing the gap by drastically increasing resources and programs to those who are struggling.
If you're doing the same, giving all of the children the same treatment, then you're not going to decrease the gap, right? You have to do something more for the group that's lowest.
Collins says fixing the achievement gap will take one-on-one intervention.
Relationships are key, and that really can help change the achievement gap, but I'm looking at it more as an attitude gap. So when you can change the attitude of our students and of the teaching of the people who are interacting with our students, you can change a number of things.
A looming teacher shortage is another top concern. Both candidates support high school career pathways and grow your own teacher preparation models, which encourage and support youth to go into teaching in their own communities. Collins was inspired to be an educator from a young age. In junior high, she transformed her garage into a summer school classroom for neighborhood kids.
And parents, literally, they brought their kids over and I made lunch and everything. So that's when I realized my overall passion for education.
For Whitehurst Payne, her inspiration came from her mother, who would cry as a child when school buses passed by and she had to stay home to pick strawberries.
And she decided that her daughters were going to go to school and did everything she could to ensure that we did.
Both candidates will advance to the general election in November, regardless of whether one candidate has an overwhelming victory in the subdivision election in June. That's because there are only 2 candidates in the race, and the top 2 candidates move on to appeal to voters citywide. Susan Murphy, KPBS News.
And video journalist Matt Bowler helped produce that story. You can find more of our election coverage online at kpbs.org/election. The Navy has identified a 21-year-old SEAL trainee who died on Friday during a basic training exercise in Coronado. His name is James Derek Lovelace from Crestview, Florida. The Navy says he was showing signs of difficulty treading water while wearing a camouflage uniform and a dive mask. He lost consciousness after being pulled from the water and was pronounced dead. Lovelace was in his first week of basic training. For more than 20 years, a U.S. Air Force base in New Mexico has been home to Germany's largest military installation on foreign soil. The German Air Force Flight Training Center has meant millions of dollars to the U.S. government and to the community of Alamogordo. But now the Germans are about to pack up and leave. Fronteras reporter Simon Thompson has a look at the impact.
In a hangar at Holloman Air Force Base, a German Tornado jet is powering up for the first training exercise of the day. The final pre-flight checks are done, the pilots climb aboard and the bomber is taxiing to the runway for takeoff. In the next hangar, Luftwaffe Master Sergeant Stefan Milner and his maintenance crew are getting the next Tornado ready to fly.
1, 2, 3.
The German Air Force Flying Training Center was established at Holloman 20 years ago. The controlled airspace and sparsely populated desert is the perfect environment to train pilots in low-level flying and bombing. Clear and warm conditions means they can train 300 days out of the year.
Look at the weather. The sun is shining. It's always warm. It's a mild winter here. There's no snow. Where I come from, it's always cloudy and, you know, it's not such a great weather, so it's amazing.
These days, the Luftwaffe is changing its strategy, with Tornadoes playing a smaller and different role. In 2005, the Germans were training with 38 Tornado jets at Holloman. Today, there are only 14 on base. Training Center Commander Stefan Breitenbach says the shrinking fleet makes the mission hard to justify.
Now the number of Tornadoes is so small that basically to operate them efficiently, we need to just reduce the base and consolidate the Tornadoes at the 2 remaining air bases in Germany, to have efficient logistics and also to have the crews together.
Over the past 5 years, Germany paid the US government $151.3 million to train at Holloman. But this year, the German military announced the center will be closed down by 2019, when its current contract runs out.
The German contract to fly these Tornado jets at Holloman Air Force Base was worth millions, but the Germans' departure might be a bigger blow to neighbouring town Alamogordo.
Real estate agent LeBron Little is pitching a for lease sign in the front yard of a new house on the market. He says it's the kind German families rent.
The Germans love to rent around the golf course area. They're always looking for a house with a pool. They're wanting some of the higher priced homes, and they're wanting something really nice. They do a lot of entertaining.
Vacant houses have littered the streets of Alamogordo since the 2008 recession. Little says the Germans' departure will result in a 15% loss for the rental market and about 400 more vacant houses in town. There are around 1,200 Germans in Alamogordo, making it the largest community of German expatriates in the US. Alamogordo has the largest public German school outside Germany, along with German-run charities, a church and a German food section at Walmart. And every year they throw an Oktoberfest that brings people to Alamogordo in their thousands, with German beer, food and entertainment, especially flown in from Germany. That's where Milner met his American girlfriend. He says he enjoys the cultural exchange.
I love the burgers.
The burgers?
Yes, I love the burgers. No, the burgers are my favorite, and I'm eating a lot of it.
Milner says he's not ready to leave America.
You feel more free. You can basically do whatever you want if you don't harm someone. And that's pretty cool. And in Germany, it just doesn't feel so free.
They do a lot of traveling. They like to buy cars, motorcycles. They like to have the American experience, if you will, while they are here.
That's New Mexico State Senator Bill Burt. He says the German contract to fly came at a crucial time in the 90s when Holloman was being considered for closure.
The loss of the Germans will be dramatic for Holloman Air Force Base and for the community of Alamogordo. Just as much as we hate having the economic impact, we're going to lose our friends.
Burt points to the millions in infrastructure the Germans are leaving behind, hangars and office buildings that he says could draw in another mission to fill the void the Germans will leave. But Master Sergeant Milner says he won't be taking off just yet. When the base closes, he says he's going to resign from the German military, just so he can stay in America with his girlfriend. He's applying to universities in California to study business administration, so he can get a visa.
I went on vacation to San Diego for the 4th of July, and that was it. That was it. I was in San Diego, the most beautiful city here in the U.S. I saw the fireworks, the party for the 4th of July, and it convinced me that the U.S. is actually the place I want to stay and I want to settle.
For the Fronteras Desk in New Mexico, I'm Simon Thompson.
And this morning's clouds cleared off for a beautiful day around San Diego. Steph Davis has a look at what's ahead in our forecast.
Not too bad of a Tuesday across the San Diego area. Mostly dry conditions and temperature-wise actually above average for this time of year. Satellite and radar showing quiet conditions from the Four Corners all the way towards the coastline. You'll notice mainly clear skies and again that dry weather pattern in place. Looking in across home, nothing to worry about here from Borrego Springs south towards Mount Laguna, heading all the way towards Chula Vista and San Diego itself. And that's thanks to a ridge of high pressure in control of the weather pattern, and that high pressure ridge will remain in control as we look ahead to tonight and into the day tomorrow. So nothing to complain about weather-wise tonight in Borrego Springs. Clear and comfortable. Your overnight low is 57 degrees. Back to the upper 30s we go in Mount Laguna. Clear and quiet tonight in Ramona and Alpine. Your overnight lows coming in at 47 degrees. Mid-50s tonight in Oceanside with a dry forecast. Couple of clouds building into San Diego, though dry. Your overnight low is 61. High pressure strengthening across the southwestern United States for our Wednesday and even into our Thursday. That's going to allow for dry conditions, sunny skies, and a warming trend. So we'll see temperatures continue to climb all across the region. Here's a look at your 5-day outlook for the coast. Low clouds breaking for sun for your Wednesday. High temperature 71. We'll climb to the mid-70s Thursday with the low clouds peaking for sunshine. Same deal on Friday, high 72. Looking towards the weekend, low clouds then sun on Saturday, high 72. Mostly cloudy though dry for your Sunday. Your high temperature also in the low 70s. 5-day outlook inland, clouds then sun Wednesday, highs in the low 70s, mid 70s to enjoy Thursday and Friday. Low clouds break for sunshine Saturday, high 72. Can't rule out an afternoon shower or two inland for your Sunday with highs in the low 70s. Your 5-day outlook for the mountains, sunny and nice on Wednesday, highs in the upper 60s, warmer on Thursday and Friday as we climb to the mid to upper 70s. Nice with sunshine as we kick off the weekend Saturday. Periods of sun and cooler for your Sunday with highs in the mid-60s. Wrapping things up with your 5-day outlook for the desert, mostly sunny and 90 for Wednesday. Then it gets hot Thursday and Friday with highs pushing the triple digits. Partly sunny and warm on Saturday, partly sunny and 90 on Sunday. Steph Davis, KPBS News.
The Milky Way just got a lot more crowded. NASA announced today that they found nearly 1,300 new planets orbiting stars outside our solar system called exoplanets. The discovery is part of NASA's planet hunting mission using the Kepler Space Telescope. Nearly 550 of the newly verified planets are thought to be near Earth-sized, and 9 of these close to Earth-sized planets appear to orbit in the habitable zone of their stars.
I'm Judy Woodruff on the next News Hour. How pairing toddlers with senior citizens is a win-win for young and old alike. That's Tuesday on the PBS News Hour.
And the PBS NewsHour will not be seen at its usual time this evening. It will be on an hour earlier from 6 to 7 p.m. so that we can bring you California Counts, Race for the Senate. And here's a look inside KPBS Studio A, where we will be hosting a debate between 5 candidates for California's open Senate seat just about 90 minutes from now. And we hope you will join us at 7 here on KPBS TV to hear what the candidates have to say about the major issues facing California. This debate will also be simulcast on KPBS TV and streaming online at kpbs.org. And make sure to join us on Facebook Live tonight before the debate. We will be streaming behind the scenes of our newsroom and where the debate is being held. We will also be interviewing San Diego State University students, some of whom are first-time voters. That is tonight at 6:15 on the KPBS Facebook page. And you can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thank you for joining us from all of us here at KPBS. Thanks for watching and have a great evening.